And welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. And I am Shanrae. We are on week 2 of self-centered or self-preservation. This week, I'm going to be asking the question, which one are you? Which one are you? So we have a 30-minute segment. It's going to go by very quickly. Again, we are on week 2 already of self-centered and self-centered or perseverance. And we're going to delve in. 30 minutes goes by very quickly, so I want to go on and get started. This is an open platform. So if you have any questions or if you want to share any scenarios, please feel free to do that. But it's so good to see you all. I am Shanrae. This is Counsel of the Day, and I am Shanrae. So I'm a degree counselor. I acquired my degrees from Ashford University. All right. And I'm also a Christian counselor. But before we get started, I do want to read my website disclaimer. It says, please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that I'm using, there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. It should also be noted that due to changes in policies, that all replies are to be used as advisory or informational only and will not constitute an official determination. Information provided by myself or another counselor our counseling services are subject to the limitations of the current and the available material. But the final responsibility for successfully achieving a goal does rest with you, the individual or the client. Information online is designed to be helpful. However, this information does change frequently, and it is recommended that you consult another physician, another counselor, another specialist, and or religious leader to aid you in your overall behavioral wellness. All right. So I am a Christian counselor. I'm a Christian counselor. And so for the month of August, this quarter here, I chose the Bible scripture, Matthew chapter 7, verses 12. And it's I like the Amplified Bible version. It says, so then in everything, treat others the same way that you want them to treat you. For this is the essence of the law and the writings of the prophets. Or in other words, the King James Version, it says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So again, this month, the topic is self-centered, or are you self-centered, or are you self-preserved, or do you practice self-preservation? All righty then. So I always go into definitions. Good evening, good evening, good evening. As you come in, good evening, good evening. So glad to have you with us on tonight. Let's start with the definition first with self-preservation. Number one, self-preservation means the preservation of oneself from destruction or from harm. Or the second definition means a natural or instinctive tendency to act so as to preserve one's own existence. Self-centered. The definition for self-centered is concerned solely with one's own desires, one's own needs, and one's own interests. All right. And I wanted to define narcissism. Narcissism, the definition for that, it says it's an excessive interest in or admiration of oneself and one's physical appearance. So that is the 3 different definitions for this evening. And I'm going to move by quickly. I normally would have started out with just a little snippet of one of these either the series Sex Life from Netflix or the movie Let 'Em Go. But it was just too much going on last week. I did note that I don't own the rights to anything, but it's just too much legalities that was or too much permission or too much whatever change that I had to go through. So I won't play any of the footage, and we'll just talk about different things for the rest of the month. I may show like little pictures or something like that. All right, so let's move it along. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the 3 instincts from the Enneagram, or the Enneagram. And I'm going to blow this up so you all can see this a little bit better. 3 instances from the Enneagram, and this is talked about and taught and this study actually is by Dr. Heidi Wachter. All right, so it says to increase your self-awareness and to improve your relationship by getting to know your personality basic instincts. And again, this is talking about the self-awareness, the anagram or the Enneagram. All right, so I wanted to really open up a little bit more about this. There's a scenario that Dr. Wachter talks about. And she's talking about a husband and a wife. Gary Stone had been looking forward to attending his college fraternity reunion for months, and gregarious almost to a fault. He loved spending time with people. So when the night of the event arrived, Gary was excited to go. But Gary's wife, Jill, wanted to meet his chums as well. But the extra hours that she spent prepping for a legal deposition that week, coupled with attending their daughter's 2-day swimming meet, wore her out. And all she wanted to do was just eat dinner, curl up with her cat and a good book, and then turn in early. But when she told Gary that she'd rather skip the party, Gary got angry with her. He felt that Jill was being selfish. Jill felt hurt that Gary wasn't making her needs a priority, and he seemed to care more about seeing his college friends than considering her feelings. And they were at a common impasse. Let me, I want to define the word impasse. I didn't put it up here, but the definition of impasse is a situation in which no progress is going to be possible at all, especially because of the disagreements or a deadlock disagreement. So that's what the meaning of an impasse is, or impasse, or whatever it is. Okay, so let me keep going, because this was a very interesting scenario that happened here. So they were at a common impasse, one that we've all faced at different points in our lives, whether it was with, whether it's with a loved one, or whether it's with a spouse or whatever, a family member. Conflicts do tend to arise when two people, whether they're partners, co-workers, family, or friends, have different motivations, they have different needs, and they have different desires. To resolve these sorts of disagreements, it's helpful to understand what is driving their behavior. So that's why many psychologists and life coaches recommend the anagram, or the Enneagram, which again is a personality typing system that draws on several wisdom traditions. So the Enneagram describes 9 personality types that influence the way that people perceive and respond to human interactions. It's especially useful for understanding what we might otherwise view as the random behavior of other people or even ourselves, while also demystifying our own choices and our reactions. So biology also shapes who we are and how we act. And we know that biology is a huge factor in our character, and our characteristics, in our behavior, in our attitude, even in our flaws. Okay, and so to that end, an Enneagram expert such as Mrs. Dr. Wagner here, have identified 3 key biological drives or instincts that influence our feelings and our actions. Number 1 is self-preservation. Number 2 is sexual. And number 3 is social. So while one instinct tends to dominate in each of us, we're endowed with all 3 of them in varying measures. So imagine a 3-layered cake, okay, called the instinctual stack. Let's just call it that. So by the Enneagram teachers, such as Dr. Heidi Wagner here, with your dominant instinct on top, your less developed instinct in the middle, and your least developed on the bottom, your particular stack develops in childhood and remains mostly stable throughout your life. So though it can shift during times of dramatic change, identifying your dominant instinct can help you better understand the people that you care about and even transform your relationships. It'll also help you understand yourself. Okay. So, the anagram, and again, let me move this on so you all can see this. The anagram, I'm going to spell that for you. ENNEAGRAM. Anagram is what you can take an anagram test. I'm actually going to put the link in here a little bit later on. So if you want to take the test, and there is a $10 fee to go along with it, to take the test to find out what's more dominant with the 3 instincts. But I will put it in here later on. So tonight, let's talk about our key points for tonight, and I'm going to magnify this so you all can see this a little bit better. Tonight's key points is, let's take a quick look at the 9 anagram types, a closer look at the 3 instinctual types of the anagram, which is self-preservation, sexual, and social. Then we're going to talk about friend or foe, and then the strike of balance. And then we're going to come right back and ask the questions. Which one do you think you more lean towards? Self-centeredness, or do you lean more towards the self-preservation? Self-preservation. So we're going to move this along. All right. So you know what? And I think I kind of let me move this. I think I messed up a little bit. I actually did. No, let me read this. I'm going to actually read this. Okay, so according to Heidi Whitener, the 3 instincts from the anagram again, conflict tends to arise when 2 people, and I read this earlier, when 2 people, whether they're partners, co-workers, families, or friends, have different motivations, have different needs, and have different desires. So to resolve these sorts of disagreements, again, it is helpful to understand what's driving our own behavior. All right, what is driving your behavior? What's driving other people's behavior? All right, so let's move this along again. We're going to take a quick look at the 9 anagram types. And this is by Dr. Psychologist Molly Owens. Molly Owens breaks down the 9 different anagram types. And a lot of times we have different ones. We have more than one anagram type that, that helps us, our behavior, or that motivates our behavior. So let's look at number 1. The 9 types of anagrams are divided amongst either your heart type, your head type, or your body type. All right, so the heart types depend on their emotional intelligence to understand their own reactions and connect with other people. The head type of a person depends on their intellectual intelligence to make sense of things and to navigate the world around them. But the body type of person depends on their instinctual intelligence to follow their gut and then to respond to threats and opportunities. So again, they have the 9 anagram types that are broken down into 3 different phases: the heart type, the head type, or the body type. So let's move towards the heart type. The heart type of the anagram is type 2, the achiever. Type 2 is the achiever. Type 3 is the giver. And type 4 is the individualist. So this is the heart type of person. And I'm going to go back, because the heart type a person depends on their emotional intelligence to understand their own reactions and then connect with other people. So that's the heart type right there. They're an achiever, the giver, and the individualist. So now let's move on to the head type of the anagram. So type 5, the investigator. Type 6, the skeptic. And type 7, the enthusiast. All right, so the head type of the anagram. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you all while I read this, because it's important that you see this. The head type of person depends on their intellectual intelligence to make sense of things and to navigate the world around them. All right, so now let's move on to the 3rd and final type of anagram, and it is the body type of the anagram. So it's type 8. Type 8 is the challenger. Type 9 is the peacemaker. And type 1, you see how 1 is all the way down with the body, is the perfectionist. So let's go back and read again the body type. I'm sorry, I'm moving too fast, guys. The body type of individual depends on their instinctual intelligence to follow their gut and respond to threats and to opportunities. So which one do you more correlate with? Which one do you more respond to? Which one do you think that you're relate more to? And sometimes it could be a combination of the both. Are you a heart type? Are you a head type? Are you a body type? Or are you a combination of one or two or even three of them? All right, so now let's take a closer look now at the three instincts of a person, and which navigates a person's behavior. All right, and this we're going back to psychologist Wagner with her studies. So it says before you can effectively harness the power of all three instincts, experts say that it is helpful to first understand their qualities. So from there, you can determine which one you tend to favor, or you tend to identify your dominant instinct. All right, and then like I said, I'm gonna put this on in the feed a little bit later on the anagraminstitute.com, where you can go and take the test if you're interested in learning what type of person you are. So let's start with number one. Number one, let's break down self-preservation. And according to Dr. Wagner, all right, focused on self-preservation is something that's focused on enhancing and protecting personal safety, personal security, and your comfort. Priorities. So physical well-being, financial security, mental health. These are your priorities. Well, for someone who's a self-preserved type of person. Your characteristics are more like a healthy, self-preservation type takes care of practical necessities like paying bills, like maintaining the home, and investing in the future. This type tends to be self-sufficient, disciplined, and devoted to self-improvement. It's through our self-preservation instinct that we find a more respectful relationship with our bodies, says Diana Redmond, a Santa Fe based life coach and certified anagram teacher. So the weaknesses of the a person that's more self-preserved, their weaknesses is an unbalanced self-preservation instinct, which can lead to a preoccupation with financial and other forms of security, and an obsessive relationship with diet and exercise. Oh my God, if that's not me. Oh my God. I'm going to have to laugh right here. Oh my God. If this is not me right here, the self-preserved type of person, everything here, from the characters to the priorities to the weaknesses, I'm telling you, that is more like me right here, the self-preserved person. Oh my gosh, I'm going to move this along because we don't have a lot of time. Let me keep going. So the self-preserved person, they're focused. They're focused on creating and maintaining a powerful sense of sizzle. So through intense, intimate interactions and experiences. So priorities are intimacy, connection, and excitement. Yes, yes, and yes with me. Okay, this is totally me, my type of personality. Characteristics. Healthy sexual types will often have deep passions and they aren't afraid to try new things. I'm not. The instinct drives them to create truly intimate connections with those that they love and to connect with love itself, says Dr. Redmond. So these types are more in search of chemistry than the sexual act. Though they do seek an especially powerful connection with their intimate partner. So weaknesses, once again, sexual types practice. Oh my God, hold on. I messed up with that. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, the way it printed out, let me move this along. Now this is talking about more of a sexual type of person. Okay, so let me redo this because the way it printed out, it was a little off. Now we're going to talk about the sexual instinctive person. I'm actually going to open this up And I'm going to read this once again. Let me open this up so you can see this. And if you feel like that this is, who you identify with, that's just who we identify with. Okay. So again, the sexual type of person, instinctual type of person, you're focused on creating and maintaining a powerful sense of sizzle through intense, intimate interactions and experiences. Your priorities are intimacy. That's the priorities there: intimacy, connection, and excitement. Characteristics is a healthy sexual types will often have deep passions and they aren't afraid to try new things. The instinct drives them to create truly intimate connections with those that they love and to connect with love itself, says Redmond. Okay, so these types are more in search of chemistry than the sexual act, though they do seek an especially powerful connection with their intimate partners. So their weaknesses are sexual types practice an exploratory approach to life, and that can lead to a lack of focus as well as neediness and promiscuity. Again, the weaknesses for the sexual type of person is they practice an exploratory approach to life, which that is, it can be kind of dangerous. You're right. That can lead to a lack of focus as well as a neediness. They're needier and they're very promiscuous. So that's the sexual type of person, where they're led more sexually. Now let's move on to the social type of person. Okay, the social type of person, they're focused on creating and maintaining relationships to build a sense of personal value, accomplishment, and community. So their priorities are interpersonal relationships, group participations. Their characteristics are healthy social types, typically maintaining many friendships. They feel a strong sense of social responsibility and they work to protect the group. They have a keen understanding of group dynamics and its emotional currents, and they're highly adaptive, which is good. Dr. Redmond says that the social instinct drives us to connect with others in ways that help us grow. But the social more based person, their weaknesses are social types may develop an antisocial, us against them attitude in an effort to determine who's on their side. So they can maintain an attitude in an effort to determine, they can maintain a sense of belonging at all costs. And since they drive on community spirit, they may also over adapt to a group and forget to think for themselves. So that's the weakness, when the weak areas of a more of a social type person. Okay, so let's move on to friend or foe. And okay, this is something that Dr. Wapner, she wanted to point out. As far as the three instincts from the anagram. So it says that our dominant instinct can guide us towards feeling at ease in the world, but it is usually overdeveloped. And this can create blind spots in our perception when we're under stress. Okay, so it's our default instinct for taking care of our perceived needs, but it can also lead us to overestimate them, says Dr. Diana Redmond, which is the Santa Fe-based life coach and certified anagram teacher. So if self-preservation is your dominant instinct, which that is mine. Self-preservation really is my dominant instinct. For instance, losing your job could make you feel like you'll never have enough food and you may begin hoarding it. Right, like kind of find it. Well, with me, I would probably find a way for, if I lost my job, I would definitely not hoard anything. That's not me. I'm not a hoarder. But I would make sure that I have a safety net so that I won't go hungry. That's more like me. Okay. So, and it says here, it's not surprising that we often act unconsciously from our dominant drive when conflict arises in a personal relationships where we often feel vulnerable. So people who share the same dominant instincts are more likely to resolve differences because their priorities are similar. But people whose dominant instincts is our own least developed one often annoy us because their priorities seem to make no sense. So let me open this up. Let me make this make sense to you all. I'm going to make this make sense. My dominant area is self-preservation, but my weakest one would be probably social. Not social, I'm sorry, sexual. It would be sexual. Because I don't lose focus. I don't lose focus. I'm not promiscuous. I'm not I don't wander around. I don't just try. I don't learn by trying stuff. What I'm saying is I like to research things so I can weigh it out. Weigh it out with this. Is this going to be safe? Something for me to do. For instance, I want to take a trip in the near future to not to Kuwait or something over, not Kuwait, but I want to take a trip over to oh my God, it just slipped my mind. Where the women have to wear their veils and stuff. So I'm trying to remember the name of it. And I've been researching because I want to make sure when I go over there that I'm not breaking any laws over there. Okay, what is the safest place for me to stay? What can I do while I'm over there? Again, I do not want to break any laws when I go over there because we're Americans. So what we can freely do is considered breaking a law somewhere else overseas. So I'm that type of person. I wouldn't just jump on a plane and just go and then find out the hard way. So again, like this was saying here, that does annoy me when 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 I'm close to somebody who's a little, I call it a little reckless, where they just try things and let the chips fall when they meant. That's my weaker tendency. So like it says here, that's something that would bother me. Let me I'm gonna say it again how they say it. But people whose dominant instinct is our own least instinct developed, those things annoy us because their priorities seem to make no sense, and that certain things don't make sense to me, so it does annoy me. All right, so Dr. Kirk Mika, who's a Minneapolis-based mediator and coach who uses the anagram in his practice, has found that differences in dominant instincts can be a significant cause of conflict between people, whether at work or at home. So if one person in an intimate relationship is dominant in the sexual instinct, for example, and the other is dominant in self-preservation, the former may seek a deep connection very quickly, while the latter may prefer to keep strict personal boundaries. And this can create friction and frustration, that Dr. Mika says. But it doesn't have to if we're willing to develop greater self-awareness and compassion for ourselves and compassion for other people, and consciously choose the best way to act in a given situation, says Dr. Redman. So if gregarious Gary and his exhausted wife Jill were aware of each other's dominant instincts, they could simply agree on a time to head home from the party. Then the social type Gary would get to spend time with his old buddies, and the self-preservation type Jill would be assured of getting enough downtime. And that would be the happy medium with the scenario that I read about earlier. Okay, it's almost all right. So now let's talk about striking a balance between these different anagrams, these three different instinctual anagrams we talked about. Okay, so though we all have natural inclinations that tend to govern our behavior, I'm going to open this so y'all can see this a little bit better. We also have the opportunity to develop each instinct more fully. So this can help us gain a more thorough understanding of ourselves, and then maximize our strengths, and then connect with others more effectively. So Dr. Mika offers the following suggestions for strengthening the instinct that is your least developed instinct. Like mine's again would be the sexual one. Where let me go back. I'm sorry. Mine would be the sexual one. So number one, he says if you tend to neglect your self-preservation instinct, try paying more attention to your physical health. All right. Set aside more time for cooking. Create a workout schedule. Spend some time on financial planning or invest some resources in your home environment. Number two, he says if your sexual instinct is less developed, try challenging your boundaries by seeking out people and activities that allow you to step outside of your comfort zone and experience more pleasure, fun, and intensity. If you're not normally inclined to following your social instinct, get more involved in a group or say yes to more social events. Seek out opportunities to connect with friends, colleagues, and neighbors. Knowing your dominant instinct type helps you better. Will help you better understand what motivates you and how you can be most comfortable in this world. Okay, so cultivating your less dominant, which that again, that would be my sexual. And I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna open this up. When I say my sexual side, that doesn't mean that I don't like sex, because trust me, I do. I love it. It's talking about being a little bit freer, maybe not research everything so much. That's what I do, because I'm more self-preserved. So researching everything. Let's just go see. Let's just go see about it, and then we can determine when we get there. You know. So he says cultivating your less dominant instincts can help you become more balanced and more whole in your overall in your life. After all, life is about more than just survival. It really is. And when we understand our instinctive selves, we can enjoy life more fully. So I'm going to ask the question again, because we talked about different things, and I'm glad that we learned tonight about the three basic anagram instincts, which is your self-preservation. Are you more that? Are you more social? Or are you more sexual? But overall, because knowing these different things help you understand who you are a lot better. But I'm going to ask the question again. If you were on, or if you're watching it later on, where do you find yourself? Do you find yourself a little more self-centered? Do you find yourself a little more self-preserved? And then with the breakdown of it, do you find yourself more of a socialite? Do you find yourself more sexual? Do you find yourself more self-preserved? These are questions that will help you better understand you and help you do life a lot better with the people that you are doing life with, whether it's your spouse or whoever. It will help you better understand you and to do life a lot better. I like what Dr. Mika said at the end. He said, after all, when we understand our instinctive selves, we can enjoy our life more fully. So I wanted to let me move towards this. I want to end it, of course, with a quote, and let me open this up. Okay, so the quote says, selfishness is the greatest curse of the human race. And this was quoted by Mr. William E. Gladstone. Selfishness is the greatest curse of the human race. All right, I'm going to move this along. For those that are fellow counselors, fellow theorists, those people that are just researchers, historians, those people that just want to read more up on what I talked about or what I shared on this evening, these different strategies and key points, here are the website references right here. You can go look at them. You can find everything that I taught on tonight. You can find it right here if you click on these links, or if you look up the links yourself. Okay. Now, I want to thank you all. Thank everyone and all. Thank you. Let me I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Thank you so much for participating in Counsel of the Day with me, Shanrae, August 2021. I thank you. And I really hope that you all have gotten something out of this topic thus far. We started last week, and and now we're finishing up week 2, part 1, and Thursday night is going to be on part 2. And this week's subtopic again is, which one are you? All right, so if you want to see a previous teaching, or if you want to go back and rewatch this, feel free to go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Watch whatever series you want to watch. Subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. And I am a professional one-on-one counselor. I am. So if you are interested in professional one-on-one counseling services, feel free to contact me via Facebook Messenger or at my Shanrae.Price@gmail.com email. I am a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in reaching your life's goals and your life dreams. Now, I have to put this up here. If you feel that this teaching has helped you in a positive way or has blessed your life, please feel free to donate a coffee blessing to my Cash App, $Shanrae Price. And so let me open this up. And this has been it. I will see you all on Thursday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will do part 2 of self-centered or self-preserved. Which one are you? I hope that you all had a wonderful evening, and God bless you all, and good night.